Vacation.
We're live.
We're live. And all right, guys. So, hey everyone, welcome to the Survivor Boston reunion show with a handful of our players that sadly lost the game before the merge happened. Today we're going to get into a bunch of your questions. First off, we're just going to kind of go down the line to see who's here. From this season of Survivor, we have Sarah, Christy, Kate, Jonathan, Joe, and Aiden may pop in at any random point. I really hope they do. And then also surprise guest Charlie Welling. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good. Hey guys, in case you guys, for those watching, in case you don't know who I am, I was one of the hosts for season 1. I was abroad during the filming of season 2, so wasn't around for that. I'm still heavily involved in Survivor Boston, but yeah, fortunately wasn't here for season 2. Jacob's been killing it, holding down the fort. So yeah, just here to have a good time.
Woo! All right, yeah. So we have a handful of questions that were completely submitted by a handful of our fans from a bunch of different countries. We got so many questions. It was so fun getting every single one of them. I'm really pumped to see where this goes. Basically, this is going to be a very open discussion about every question that we throw out there. Kind of like we're just all kind of chilling, reminiscing about the game, drinking coffee, talking shit about everyone who's still in the game. First, let's just go down the line and see how everyone's doing. We'll start with Sarah. Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. I hope you guys are doing well too. I'm sick right now, but other than the fact that I'm sick, I'm doing good. I'm excited to be reunited with everyone because I feel like I didn't get a lot of time to spend with you guys during the season, so it's good to see you guys again.
It's nice to see you too, Sarah. You always make me happy whenever you're here. You're such a bright soul. All right, Christy, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you, Jacob?
I'm doing good. I just had a nice Italian dinner. Now I get to talk Survivor. It's a good night for me.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm just here to shit talk everyone that's left on the season and all my enemies that I made.
Ooh.
All your enemies.
The tea. Let's start spilling it. Kate, how are you?
I'm living the dream. Eating some of my fave M&Ms. I graduated, so I'm unemployed, trying to find a job. So if anyone wants to hire me or cast me on their show, shout out.
No longer
Survivor Boston was a good start, you know?
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan, how are you doing, dude?
I'm doing really well. I've just been working a little bit. I'm still here in Boston. And, obviously I'm excited to talk about Survivor. That's like what I mostly do.
Woo! Yeah, honestly, this is probably 90% of what I do anyway, and now it's just new people. Like this entire summer has been me just talking random Survivor with Charlie and Jonathan mostly.
Yeah,
but so we'll jump right into it. Actually, I have a whole list of questions here. A lot were submitted anonymously. A lot were just submitted by some of our super fans. So
we got one guy who did like a super long list of questions.
Yeah, like 30.
Zenith? He probably butchered that.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
He was in the chat.
That's really impressive.
All right, so the first question is kind of a general question to everyone that's here. It's what's been the most surprising part of the season while watching it back? And anyone?
For me, I think it's really cool. Even though I was in it for 2 weeks, I kind of love how Survivor Boston is like a time capsule of that time. Like I look back at who I was then, and I can remember the decisions I made, what I had going on, who I was talking to in the game, and like I just reflect on myself during that time because I'm still the same person, but I feel like from that person I've grown. So I don't know, it's been cool seeing who I was, what my priorities were, and how it can change myself in real life, Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was like, because I really know what was going on, I was just like, I'm here to have fun. So like the fact that people were already so deep into it by the first episode and like already doing, fake idols and already making alliances and already like making fake alliances. I was like watching it back. I was like, wait, what? When did this happen? I was just like asleep or something. Like, when did all of this take place? So it's really cool to see like stuff that I didn't see it was actually happening.
Yeah. Honestly, to kind of jump right in there, Sarah, week 1, we did your confessional right after we did both Aiden and Emily M's confessionals. So it went from all this fake idol explosive stuff to you being like, I like everyone. They're so nice.
Yeah, but Sarah's totally right. Like, even as someone who's like constantly strategizing, like, I was still surprised at like some of the conversations I had like no idea that they happened. And so it was really cool also just seeing the conversations that I did know happened, but just involved me, like seeing the Foxy 4 forum, because I kind of, I had my suspicions about that, but I didn't realize like exactly how it went down.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing for me, at least, was like the episode. Oh gosh, when I'm like seeing Spencer talk about me and I'm talking about Spencer, is the funniest thing that I've ever seen. It's like I trust him so much, and then he's like, I don't know. It's just so funny to see like everyone said, like how everything played out. Especially like I definitely wasn't like a big Survivor person getting into this. Like I saw it in class one time before, and that was it, for like a media crit class or something. And so like I didn't know everything about Survivor, so it was kind of like a shot in the dark, but it was fun. Lasted for a little bit, so it's just interesting to see how everything played out.
And Charlie, like, you weren't like here at all for season 2. Everything you heard was pretty much just like
it was us
spam texting you after every single tribal or everything. Like, how did the season kind of play out for you from like that kind of a perspective?
It was because me and my roommates Nick and Will were like really into it, and we all made predictions on like who was going to make it far, who was going to do this, that. We all had.
But, oh, there we go.
Oh, am I frozen?
You are frozen.
Yes, it froze. Yeah.
All right. Should I start over?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Yeah. So me and my roommates, we all like had made predictions at the beginning, so we were all really into it, and so everything was through you kind of like texting us about it, and it was like even though it was really limited, it was still like really interesting to see. Especially since we already knew half the people, and so we were trying to like see what's going to happen. And then I guess coming back and having to edit that, there's a lot of new stuff that we saw when watching the footage, so that was really cool too. A lot of really surprising things.
Bailey wishes you were here. He just said it in the chat.
Oh, did he? Love you, Bailey.
All right, so to kind of dive straight into the questions, first one comes from Zenis. I'm totally not pronouncing that correctly, and I'm so sorry. I know you're in the chat right now, and I know you're watching this. But it goes to Sarah. And what made you say that one of your biggest strengths is that you're sneaky? And did you realize right after you said it probably wasn't the best idea?
That's like not even what I said, though. I mean, I said like I said in terms of like, well, okay. I just what I meant was that like I would do that for the other team. Like I would not be an outward threat like for the other team, so that I could like help my own team and like beat the other team is what I was trying to say. But like it totally also like watching the episode back, like Siobhan like twisted my words so much. I don't know, like when she's talking to other people, she's like, yeah, she says she like is a snake and like will do anything for herself and whatever. I'm like, that's not really what I said, though. I mean, honey,
that spread so quickly too.
Yeah,
that's the tea.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it at the time, but then, I was like, oh, and then, I didn't even realize it after I got voted out. I just thought it was totally like a scheduling thing, and I was like, oh, it's because I have a lot going on, whatever. But then I was like, okay, maybe it's something I said literally. So yeah.
Well, if I can jump in real quick, you kind of made it your strategy to like kind of not have that many conversations with people, like the first episode. Do you think like if you had conversations with people, that would have been like cleared up in a way?
Yeah, I definitely do. And it wasn't my strategy to not have conversations. I was just really, really shy. And I was like, I don't want to reach out to people because I was like, so I'm like, so I was just like, I don't know. And so I did actually try to reach out to Jonathan and Joe.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, we should get together. And I was like, that's why I was like planning to vote out. Well, I did vote for Emily Kidd. But I thought that might be something that could happen. But it was just like too late. And like the plan against me was already in place. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was the problem. Is that like I definitely would have entertained that, but like by the time that you contacted Joe and me, like the plan was like very locked down.
Yeah.
And like I remember even like messaging Joe and saying like, "Hey, like should we like talk to like Sarah?" And he was like, "No, like don't worry about it."
Yeah.
Kate, how did you like perceive that when Sarah said that she was sneaky? Because like if Siobhan did twist her words, what was your read on it?
Well, so when Sarah was answering the question, my headphones went out, so I don't know how she answered it. But I remember I heard her say I didn't say that, but I remember her saying, we were going around and we were like, what are your strengths? And she goes, I'm very quiet, but when the time is right, I'm going to sneak attack. And so I took it as like, like, she's gonna sneak attack on me, so I'm gonna, you know what I mean? So
I was like saying it too, like about the other team. Like I am going to sneak attack the other team and be a good team member. Meanwhile,
did I just spill some tea there? Do we need some napkins?
I love that motion you did too. You're like sneak attack.
Yeah, no, but Sarah did that.
So like kind of going off of the whole like, oh, I meant it to the other team. Roz in the chat just asked the question like, what was everyone's perceptions of the other tribe? So like for Sarah, Kate, and Jonathan, like what was your perception of Pijaki at the beginning, and then for Christy, what was your perception of Makwa?
I don't know. My thought was always like absolute chaos because from every description that I heard, it's like everyone's gunning for everyone. Like, I think one of the few things I heard about Chrissy before we like swapped was like she and Spencer are like one of like the few stable people. I think that's what Siobhan told me, and so I was like, okay, good to know. But I was just very afraid of everyone on Pachaki. I didn't really know what to think, if I could trust any of them.
I honestly was just mind my own business, just focused on my own tribe. And I know Siobhan said that she was in a fraternity and she knew Spencer. So I was like, okay, Siobhan knows some people. I didn't know anyone coming into the game. I worked with Tay at the radio station, but besides that, I was just like my own, and you and Sarah, but like besides that, like I was a lone wolf, mind my own, doing my thing. Yeah.
I just thought like Makwa was, I mean, as we like started going through the challenges and they had like a lot of like team spirit, and I was just like, oh God. It's like stop. I was like, this is really annoying. Just because I'm
You're just jealous
person. Yeah, I guess I was jealous. I mean, we were winning, but I was jealous. I was just like, guys, like our team was obviously not going to be that. Like we knew that. All of us, we would all sit down with each other, and I feel like we'd all just look at each other like, we know everyone's doing shady stuff around, but we're just gonna act like. That was like the one thing that unified us, I guess, was we would all be like, ugh, Makwa, they're acting so like they can like tie-dye a win out, and like we were all like, oh, we're just gonna win the challenges. So I guess like that's the one thing that we all agreed on. But yeah, our team just was very, it was a little crazy, a little cuckoo crazy. We were a little segmented.
Yeah. I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just having a good time.
Oh boy. So, next question goes to you, and it's, why do you think you were targeted over somebody like Siobhan, who is playing a more intense game?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was targeted week 2 And I like, honestly, I kind of felt like it was a slap in the face because I was trying to take the team spirit, team leader role. Like, I got the supplies to tie-dye. I was at every event. I was at every challenge. Like, I showed up and I made it like known that I was in it to play. And so I thought, honestly, the next vote would be Emily Kidd. And I honestly have never seen, and I'm a huge fan of Survivor, by not participating, like by like saying, hey, I want to be out of this challenge, being a reason to leave. Like, I thought that was a dumb reason for me to go, because I thought it was strategic for me to sit back during that challenge. Like, hey, I'm not the best runner. I'll show you other things I can do later on. So that being one of the reasons I got out, I was like, could have gone out Emily Kidd. Where's she at? Could have got Siobhan. Like, Siobhan and I were kind of equal. So I don't know. It was me. Should have been Emily Kidd, though. It was me.
know all of her interests in Jack and Jill. So the most important content in any Survivor Boston episode ever.
Do you think, Kate, there's anything else you could have done to save yourself?
I don't know, because when I left right after the challenge we lost, the running challenge, I was gone that weekend. And during that weekend, no one contacted me. And I kind of felt like, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to need to whip something up. But when I came back and I found out that I was the one leaving, everyone was sitting around going to watch Survivor season 1. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try to talk to Joe. I'm going to try to talk to these people. And no one wanted to talk to me. So I was like, it's out of my hands at this point, you know? So I stayed true to myself. I kind of wish I hadn't done that. I kind of wish I don't know, was a snake or a liar, but I was myself, you know? Could have played a role.
Could have snuck attack.
You could have sneak attack. Yeah.
And then Jonathan, how did that look from like your perspective? Because Kate, like at the time, was your closest ally in the game, and saw that like Jack immediately throws the name out there, and then Siobhan jumps on board, and then Tay jumps on board, and you were sitting there at that lunch table in the classic Emerson dining hall. Like, how did you?
Well, I think I actually physically collapsed during that conversation at one point, and Siobhan like even called me out on it and was saying like, "Oh, like." You look like you don't like this plan, and I was saying like, oh, I just don't want to blow anyone out, but I was more kind of scrambling in terms of how I could save Kate. I mean, like as the episode showed, I definitely tried, but I kind of knew, like at the point where we were all watching season 1, we got together as a kind of tribe meeting. I told Kate that like she was one to go because we didn't have Joe's vote, we didn't have Isabel's vote, like the votes just weren't there, and I had to really scramble, and I even tried to like flip things on Siobhan and really show everyone that like she could not be trusted. But like it was clear to me, like going into that tribal, that was futile, and that's why I felt like I had to vote for Kate, which obviously wasn't ideal, and I was hoping that you would have found like a hidden immunity idol. But then honestly, like would you have told me that like you found it if you did?
Oh yeah, I would have.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like if you had that, then I probably would have voted with you.
Right.
But yeah.
Literally a few minutes, when we were waiting to go into the tribal, and I knew I was leaving, I couldn't look at anyone in the face, and I was so sad. Like I was literally about to cry. So I walk into the bathroom. I called one of my like friends from home, biggest Survivor fan. I told him like flat out the whole scenario. He goes, "Repeat after me. You have the hidden immunity idol." And I go, "I don't though." He goes, no. You have the hidden immunity idol. He goes, "Say it." So I said it out loud, and I walked out of it. Like, you know what I mean? I had to believe it to like try to, I don't even know what that was.
It did spook everyone in that tribal council. Like they all came into vote, and they sit there like, she has an idol. I need to like change my vote or something. And like they all sat forever. The only one that ended up actually flipping was Siobhan, but you got literally everyone in that room considering.
I sucked the life out of that room. Life gone. Yeah, I sucked the life out of it.
It was insane. It was so fun. That kind of actually goes into the next question though. I don't have written down who said it, but I think it's someone who's in the chat right now, and I'm sorry if I didn't write your name down, but How long did you guys actually spend like looking for hidden immunity idols in this game? Because the only time that the show is actually shown people looking for idols is when people like Matt and Siobhan had clues to idols and then found them like 5 minutes later. Like, how often did you guys actually go looking for idols?
Right after I want to say it was it might have been the first challenge, we scoured Paramount. Like, a lot of Pajaki did. And we like went all around looking for stuff. And then I did twice on my own because I didn't know about like the clue thing because I'm an idiot and I didn't research Survivor at all before I started playing Survivor. So I was just like, I guess I just gotta find it. So I went to the Esplanade twice with my friend who wasn't playing, and I looked for like ever, and I was just like, oh, okay. So I looked 3 times in total.
Literally the first day, Jonathan was like, want to make an alliance and want to look for the idol? Want to go now? And so I was like, sure, okay. And we literally went to the Esplanade, and I think we were there for, I would say, like an hour or so.
I don't know the exact amount of time, but we definitely spent a while, like, looking for that idol, and for whatever reason, I guess we just kept going to the wrong part of the Esplanade.
Yeah.
But the Esplanade is so big, like.
Yeah. And then we went separate ways, and he was like, I'll look that way on my way home. You look that way, and let me know. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
You guys also like knocked an entire fence over while looking. That was my favorite.
No, that was so bad. But that's not even the worst thing that happened to me when I was searching for the idol, because I search a lot. There was one time I was searching under the statues, and I like was peeking like into like a little crevice. I just bumped my head really hard. So yeah, no, idol search was not great for me.
I didn't really get to search. That's
all right. Jonathan, the next question is to you, and it's from our good buddy Alan Drum, and he asks, "Why did you push so hard the week you were voted out instead of just playing the middle card?"
Yeah, I mean that's something that I've thought about a lot. There's so many different ways I could play that week. I mean, the way that I was looking at it going in is that like I did see those like 2 tight pairs, and I was very tight with Tay and Joe, and like I felt very close to Isabella as well. And I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do moving forward. And for me at that point, I really wanted to go to the final 3 with Joe and Isabella. So I kind of wanted to split them both up from their pairs. And I just like, I was getting the sense more and more so like whenever I met with Tay and Joe, that Joe was always going to be very attached to Tay. So it felt like for me, that would have been a really great move because not only would I take out one of the biggest players in the game at that point, but I would also get Joe to have to like completely trust me. And like that would be a really indispensable number for me because I felt like he was going to be very loyal. He still ended up writing my name out, which didn't feel good, but I still love Joe. Yeah, I mean, I definitely could have been a little more subtle during that week, and I definitely like I made it too obvious I was playing both sides, and so I think that was a big part of like my downfall. But I still think that like it made sense, and I felt like I gave a good explanation to Joe, to Isabel, and Spencer. And I mean, it's just really shows like the power of Tay's social game that she was able to meet with all of them afterwards and sway them away from that.
I have a question. Did you see you being voted off? Did you see that coming? Because since I wasn't there, from my perspective, it looked like a blindside, but I'm not sure.
Yes and no. Going into the tribal, I still felt like I was the swing vote, and like looking back, I don't know why I would think I was the swing vote because I did also talk to Joe about taking out Tay. So like I don't know why he would then just keep voting for Spencer in that case. But as soon as Joe and Isabella came into tribal, like it was just the 3 of us, and they were like not really giving me great vibes, so I started getting worried about that. But I still like I felt pretty confident that whole week because I just thought that those two would never vote me out. So I was like, oh, worst case scenario would be a 3-2 vote, and I'll stay. But as soon as like people started answering questions during tribal, like the way that Spencer's talking, like it just sounded like he was going to vote for me, even though it was very kind of a clouded language. It was clear that like I was the one being referenced. And then same thing with Kay. She was pretty obviously referencing me. And I do kind of wish that I'd been more kind of vocal and like making my case, but I didn't want to completely blow up my spot just in case like my plan hadn't been blown up to that point. So
All right, Christy, I got a good old question for you here. So why did you and Matt decide to vote for each other instead of voting together and trying to sway someone onto your side?
Okay, so this is something I've thought about so much since then, because me and Matt were like cool, but I didn't know about his like we talked about. I didn't know that he had the idol. Like I know everyone thought I knew, but I didn't know that. And we like talked about it once, but it never like I did not know that. I know that like Joe has told me that like when everyone saw us talking outside of the room, everyone was like, "Oh shit, it's going down," and like I really was just completely like people really overestimated me in this game because like I just it wasn't all clicking up here. But I like me and Matt like definitely talked a little bit, but we didn't like we weren't. I don't know. He didn't trust me fully, so we talked about it like later. As we like because we became friends through this actually, which was like cool. And we like talked about it later, like oh we could have like done something, and I was like well I mean if I knew they had an idol, like I thought he was. Going into my elimination, I like thought I was going home because I had discussed it with other people because I was like doing a lot at that time and I had like a lot on my plate and I was like just so swamped and I was like, oh, someone has to go. I was like, it can be me, guys. And then Matt said the same thing. And that's where it became like kind of like it looked more like I was saying it for real, but Matt was doing it as like a ploy, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah,
Wait,
I didn't know.
Did you evict yourself? Like, oh, it could be me. Like, I volunteer as tribute to go.
Originally, yeah.
Oh.
And we got really.
It was weird because you and Matt both at one point said like, "Oh, I should be the one voted off." Did you guys come to an agreement at all on like which one should like volunteer or?
Well, yeah. Okay. This is why, like, this is like still very unclear for me because I don't know if Matt was like doing some shady stuff, like to me, which I like. I mean, we talked about it, and like, I thought that he was going that week, and I was gonna end up going the next week because there was no one else that liked me, like no one else that was like true to like me at that point, like on my team. So I was like, okay, like I'll be gone like after this. So we were just like, let's go, but you know. He's not on this pre-merger chat, so I guess he finessed me.
For sure.
But yeah.
Oh, I just totally like brain farted. I had a follow up.
I have
here we go.
Okay.
You have something, Charlie?
No. You go first if it's fun. Yeah.
All right, I was gonna say like if you and Matt basically like could have chosen who to go at that point, like who would it have been? Like if you and Matt like were able to pull together a plan, like which person in the majority would you have targeted?
Spencer, because that was my baby. Spencer, if you're watching this, I trusted you. And like I knew that whole day, like I was texting Spencer, like, and he had always like responded like perfectly beforehand, and then he started not responding, and I was like, okay, nope. And then like me and Matt, like when we were talking about, and we were like, Spencer, like. Shaded on us, like he's gone, like oh we should have known not to trust him, like all this stuff. So it would have been Spencer, just on like solely on the fact that like I trusted you, baby. If you're watching, I still love you though. Yeah.
You think that was just Isabella's fault because like the clip of her sitting with Spencer?
Yeah.
Saying,
Yes. Yes. I saw that. I was like, Isabella. I like didn't know, like, because like I've said many times before in this chat already, like I was kind of clueless about everything that was like going on. Like Survivor was just like, it was a lot, and I was just like, I can just like coast, and that wasn't the case. But yeah, like I didn't know like all the like Isabella stuff. Like I knew that they were tight, but I didn't know how tight. So Isabella, I saw that. Is she watching? I love you.
Probably
Isabella.
not.
Before.
She said my room was clean, and I appreciate that. I cleaned it.
Yeah, no, looks good.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a Phoebe asked earlier. What were your guys' immediate? I guess this is for Jonathan and Christy. What were your guys' immediate reactions to Matt's semi-death in the Steal the Bacon or Tire challenge? Because I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly how like scary or concerning that was.
I was terrified because like me and Matt were starting to become like friends, like outside of Survivor, not like alliance stuff. Like we were becoming friends, which is cute. Thanks for having this game, guys. So I made friends. But like I was like so worried for him because like you can't really see it on the like footage, I don't think, but his face turned like blue. And I was sitting right there. He was like at my feet, and I was just like, no. And I was like trying to do like all my like soccer like first aid that I remembered from like middle school. And I was just like, okay, breathe. Like you can hear me in the background, like telling him to like breathe, put his hands up, just like sit and like look at me, follow my finger, all this stuff. I was just like absolutely shook, freaking out. I was so worried that he was like seriously injured.
Yeah, it was really scary. And I mean, at the time, like I didn't know Matt at all. But I was still like very concerned for him. And I think like at first I didn't even register what exactly happened. But then like as soon as like he kind of started to sit up, like it was very clear that like something was wrong. And I mean, it was just, that was a really hard challenge to watch, right? Because like Chrissy, like I've become really good friends with Matt through this experience. And like just seeing what he went through was like really, really tough.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Jacob, that was scary for you too, right?
Yeah. So basically, like from my perspective of this entire thing, like it was like the second Jack reaches over and puts his hand on Matt's face, like there's like a split 2 seconds of like, ah, fuck, and then he just falls over. And that's when you see, like in the footage, like Sarah Duvall, our season 1 winner, spoiler alert, and producer on set just sprints over. She's like, everyone stop. Like, God bless Sarah Duvall. That night would have been so much harder without her.
Yeah,
I will always appreciate her for it. It was scary, like seeing something like that happen to like someone who like we all care about everyone who plays this game. Like we know like it's a game that's like really hard, and the whole intention of it is to vote other people out of this game, but we don't want anyone getting like actually physically harmed while playing this game. And I know we did get some shit in the comments because Survivor Maryland's players are able to tackle each other. We're a different league. Like we're JV.
We're creative. We're creative, soft people.
Yeah, we're soft boys.
We're about love and happiness.
Yeah, Matt easily took that like a champ. Like I remember he was the first confessional I did right after that challenge. And he comes in and he's like, well, now I can go look for the idol. I don't care. And then he's like, claps to you, man. You had.
I remember you were. I'm like, oh, how'd the challenge go? And then you FaceTime me, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, Matt's coming in right now. He has a concussion. We need to talk to him right now. I'm like, whoa.
Oh yeah. By the way. Yeah, we definitely sat down with Matt for a long time after the challenge just to talk through like everything that happened during that challenge, like his like now new like physical limits for any challenges that he may have to either like sit out of or like not be able to have like certain roles in. And he was very understanding of like the entire situation. He also like dragged Jack's ass across that entire field. Like, Dan referenced it in tonight's episode. Like
oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Jack. Like Matt is underratedly one of the strongest people on this cast. Yeah. Like such a good guy. Like he's So lovable.
What other questions do we have?
It was a great. How did it look from a perspective of like not even being there, just watching it? Kate and Sarah.
I remember hearing about it, and I went up to you. And like when it happened, I remember hearing about it, and I went up to you in the DH, and I go, "Yo, there's this rumor going around," and you were like, "It's a rumor," and you nipped it in the bud. Like you were like, "Nothing happened," and then so when I was watching it, I was like, "Something did happen, Jacob.
There were
You're
a lot of people
welcome."
out of proportion.
You know,
that like Matt like was actually like hospital because like there was someone who was hospitalized that week. It wasn't Matt. People thought that Matt was hospitalized that week because of the challenge, and because that person was a former Survivor player. They like associated it with
it just got
the challenge. So,
jumbled.
like, yeah, it kind of started blowing up. So I'm just like, okay, it was a fun week. It was a great week.
But I feel like PR-wise,
by the way, that person is okay.
But PR-wise, you should go into PR or something because it did not damage the Survivor Boston reputation at all. Like you covered it up well. You handled it very professional.
It was Matt. Matt honestly is the like real trooper here. Like he did a great job. Like we're all mature.
It could have ended up a lot worse.
It could have been so much worse. Yeah. Like if it was Siobhan, this whole show would have been canceled.
It's funny because like I didn't know about any of this until after the season, like after everything. So I got it all in one go. I like got all of the dirt all in one go, and I'm like, all of this happened? What the hell? So it was just like, it was crazy. Yeah.
All right, so trying to like move on from that. The next question would be like, who did you guys all consider to be your closest ally in the game?
For me, Jonathan.
As the most people say, no one.
Jonathan was my closest ally. I was still hesitant about Siobhan, but like Jonathan was my number one, obviously, but Siobhan came to me about an alliance, and I honestly thought because she came to me about it, she was genuine about it, because like logistically we were the same. We were seniors, we were off campus, like everything lined up that if we just stuck together, we would have been fine. And she would be like, oh my gosh, so like I'm gonna go talk to Jack and Tay and Isabella and them, but like I'm gonna just like throw you in it to keep us safe, to like see if we can work together with them. So like she's very inclusive, or she said she was gonna be inclusive when she was talking to them, but she obviously didn't. But like I kind of got sketched vibes. So Jonathan was for sure my number one.
Yeah, I mean, while Kate was in the game, obviously Kate was my closest ally. Then things shifted a lot. I always felt very close with Joe and Isabella. And then, I mean, I feel like it didn't really make the show much, but like Kay and I actually were very close. And like I always kind of in the back of my head knew that like I would lose against her, and at some point I had to make a move. But like if we had just won our way into the merge, like I probably would have worked with Tay for a while.
From my perspective, I mean, it did seem like you, Joe, and Tay as three were really close.
Yeah, we were all like just very close friends, like regardless of the game. And yeah, I mean, obviously I kind of messed that up for us, but there was definitely a line there, and like Tay and I had even talked about like the three of us and Jack going to Final Four. But clearly, Joe and I did not make it to merge, so no chance of that happening.
Yeah, I would say like for the my longevity of the game, I would say that Jonathan and Joe, obviously, because we were like in the first episode, we together, but and like we just like by circumstance we were together in that challenge. Also because they're both like really nice, down to earth people, and I'm like when it comes to like a big like social situation, the loudest people are sometimes like the scariest to like deal with. But like Jonathan and Joe were like a little bit quieter, but like very like welcoming, like as people. So it was very, I was like naturally drawn to them. So I was like, okay, I could make something with them. We could go far.
we could have.
Title 3.
I definitely think like, well, obviously it wasn't true, but I thought we had like a little, little pact going. We didn't. It's fine. It's all right. I'm over. I'm not bitter. But or I guess like in a weird way, Aiden, because like I was terrified of Aiden, because Aiden is Aiden, and I was just like, I don't know. He had like come to me like wanting to like talk, and we had talked like often, and he was very nice to me, but I didn't trust a word out of his mouth. And apparently everything he was saying was true, like to me, like he was very open and honest with me, but like I couldn't trust him. I was like, I can't trust this person who's just like, so I guess like in another life, like me and Aiden could have, done something, but like it just wasn't, I like did not trust him. He was too sketchy.
Well, what do you think? Because you were like the number one person kind of aligned with Aiden. I remember Jacob was texting me. He's like, "Yeah, this aligns with Aiden and Christy right now." And like, I'm friends with you, Christy. So I'm like, what is she doing? Why do you think you became so close? Why do you think you became so close with Aiden? Or why did you guys end up being like at least seen as like a tight pair, even if you weren't?
Because Aiden talked to me a lot. Honestly, like he talked to me a lot. He went out of his way to talk to me, and I wasn't really going out of my way to talk to any other people, so that's like who I was seen with the most, I guess. Even though I definitely met with like Spencer and Siobhan more, then it just like wasn't made, like whatever. But I don't know, we just like talked a lot, and he was like super nice to me, and that's why I didn't trust it, because Aiden would always like, he had like this grand plan. And I talked about this in one of my confessionals, and I didn't know what it was. Apparently it was like positive and to like push me forward, and he just wanted to be like the villain. But I didn't believe that, because everyone wants to win, not Aiden. Mm-hmm. Aiden just wants to cause chaos, which like I just couldn't take the chance and trust it, because I thought that he definitely had like the chops to win, simply because of how like conniving he was.
Well spoken.
Like, yeah, once he told me about like the fake idol thing, though, I was like, I feel like I don't know if this is gonna really work. I don't know. I was like, I gotta not. And that was like the last time we really like talked, because I was like, I can't do that.
As a quick reference, speaking of Aiden, Aiden is at a bonfire right now, is what I just got a text from.
What?
I'm trying to get him on here, and also Joe Johnson will be here in 10 minutes.
The last boot, Joe Johnson.
Honestly, let's kind of dive into Aiden for a second.
I'm actually really curious on what you guys think about Aiden.
Aiden was one of those, just for like anyone in the group, and like anyone who's watching right now. The second Aiden walked into casting, it's probably like I have the clearest memory of his casting process. Like everyone else, like, you see so many people, some start to like mend together. But Aiden comes in. First, he sits down and he's like, Churchill is actually one of the worst people in the entire world. And I'm like, oh. And the second he left, Will, who was on our crew for season 1, was like, all right, we have to cast him or else I'm protesting this show. And I'm like, he was like a casting decision in the stars. But like underratedly, like from my perspective, Aiden did, as Chrissy said, go out of his way to talk to so many people and like talk to them for a very long time. Like if he didn't have as much of a crazy persona attached to him, that would make for a good social game. Like you saw in the episode he was voted out, Bailey is sitting at a table saying, yeah, like, no, Aiden trusts me. Like we have long conversations, none of which was ever filmed. But it really speaks to how like he's able to, at least in some occasions, like talk for long periods of time, make sure people at least have a good idea of him. But his crazy psychopathiness kind of doesn't help that much in that situation. But what were your all reads of Aiden on Makwa tribe, all you Makwa people?
Oh my gosh, I was just glad he wasn't on my tribe because as soon as the game started, I had so much anxiety, and if he was on my tribe, it just would have like skyrocketed. Like, nope, I'm not gonna touch that. Nope. Bye.
I feel like I might have done better if he was on Makwa because the attention would have been all for me. It would have been like, yeah, she said this one weird comment, but look at this guy. He's a Winston Churchill. Like, what? So maybe it would have done better. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to what Kate said. Like, I was already so paranoid, like, without Aiden. Like, I feel like every time I had a conversation, like, leading up to the swap, like, one of the main topics was like, oh my god, I'm going to go crazy if Aiden's on my tribe. But honestly, it wouldn't have been the worst thing for me, because I think he would have been a good buffer for me. Like, even if I didn't necessarily work with Aiden, it'd be nice to just, like, have like that vote to kind of unify on, kind of like New Makwa did.
Mm-hmm.
So on like a definitely related question, who was your crush this season?
Who asked that question again?
That was an anonymous one.
Oh, that was anonymous. Dang.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Honestly, it's probably Isabella, let's be real.
Yeah, I was pretty charmed by Isabella.
Oh no, I'm for sure answering this. Well, first of all, Jacob Fallberg, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's my first.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Probably like I'm trying to like go through everyone I was on, like the teams. Like, I just was like so fascinated with Jonathan and Joe. Like, I don't know why, because I just like they would just like hang with Tay, and I knew Tay, so I would like just like hear these things, and I was just like Joe especially, like a character, like what a guy, and like I never really got to like talk to him or anything, so I was just like watching these people, and I was like I kind of love them, but it was like literally I had a crush on everyone this season. And that's who it was. Everyone was amazing, and I had a crush on you all. Even you, Sarah, even when you were gone. You gave me letters, but I saw you, all of you.
I was pretty determined to work with Emily M. Like, if I wanted to go anywhere, I just wanted to work with Emily M. because I thought she was so, like, whenever I saw her at competitions, I'm like, that girl's a beast. Like, I just want to talk to her. I hope we could work together in the future. Never happened, but always had, like, a goal to work with her.
Yeah. Oh, who? I would say I don't know. Yeah, I would say like just everyone. I have like a friend crush on everyone. I just wanted to be everyone's friend. So yeah.
Oh, so adorable.
I have a question for everyone. Well, I guess Kate, you already kind of answered that, but did you guys have anybody on the other tribe that you would have wanted to work with?
Well, I mean, like, I wanted to work with Matt, but like obviously like things never really worked out in terms of numbers being there. And then like I guess I kind of got annoyed with him because of like his idol play, and like I mean that's another thing that didn't like it was hard to kind of make the show, but like he really like was smart about like getting like me specifically to like tell him that like he was going, so he knew that he had to like play the idol himself. But like he was someone that if I made the merge, like I would have like tried to work with him, even though I didn't. I thought he was pretty shady. And probably the same deal with Emily M, because I think she would have been a good shield for me. And I mean, like I was just trying to find like players who'd be good shields for me, but not like so well connected like Tay that I wouldn't be able to vote them out.
Definitely Tay for me, 100%, because I didn't want her to get switched off of Pajaki. I think I was like one of the only, like Aiden told me to vote for her, and I was like, nah.
Oh, you mean at the very beginning?
At the very beginning, he was the one who was like, vote off Tay to everyone, and I couldn't do it because I was like, I want to work with Tay, like this is gonna be cool, and then it just never, it was never able to happen, because by the time like we were on the same team. I feel like it was just too far gone.
It's actually let's tangent to that real quickly, because that's something that didn't make the final cut of the show, was why Tay was chosen to be the person who was initially switched off of Pajaki. We know Spencer was the easy go-to vote because he wasn't there in the first place. But Chrissy, like, what was going on during that entire process, and why was it Tay?
So when we like all got to like talk and we made our poster, Tay was like very vocal and like very like she had like the essence of a leader, basically. And I like really liked that in her. And it wasn't so much so where it was like an Emily M situation where people were like, at least I was intimidated by her at all. It was just like I was like, this is like a strong competitor, someone I want to play with. But like Aiden, like I think he was like trying to like assert himself as someone who could make decisions, and like honestly it worked. And he was just like, everyone vote off Tay, and I think like I was the only person who didn't. And
I think you were Natalie, right?
Yeah, I wrote Natalie, but it was literally because I hadn't spoken a word to her. She was the only person I hadn't really talked to. Like we introduced ourselves and that was it. So I was just like, oh, I guess her, because I don't bless you, because like I didn't want to vote Tay.
Well, yeah, and my first
There we go.
Say that again.
Start again.
Yeah, say it again.
My first impression of in-game Aiden, because Jacob, you were texting me about it. You said that Tay went because Aiden went to every single person and just said, vote Tay. Right off the bat, I'm just like, wow, Aiden's crazy.
Yeah. No, I was just like, why? There was no explanation given. It was just like, vote Tay. And I was like, no.
Christy the rebel. She doesn't give in to Aiden's demands.
Yeah, wait, Jacob, do you know why Aiden won Tay specifically?
From what I remember, this was actually one of the questions that someone asked. Someone asked this at some point. But Aiden, I think, saw and immediately identified Tay, Emily M, and Spencer as these three big targets on Pajaki. Like these three big people that will all be leaders, and these three big people that will all try to influence the game on his tribe in some way, shape, or form. So he kind of chose one of them and wanted them immediately as far away from him as possible. I think, like, along with a good, at least a handful of you guys knew that they weren't going to be voted out of the game, that there was going to be some sort of twist involved with them. So I think he figured that too, and he just didn't want as many leaders on Pajaki, because I do think that is actually one of the things that kind of led to Pajaki being crazy as hell, is that you have Aiden, you have Emily M, you have Spencer, you have all these people that want things to go their way. And he had quickly identified that Tay was also one of those people, and I think Aiden wanted to be that sole person. So
yes. Say what you want about Aiden. He did like really analyze the game a lot. And sometimes his assumptions were wrong, but he did put a lot of thought into it.
I think like talking to Aiden like about how he wanted the game to go and like his plan, like honestly it was kind of ingenious. I really liked it, but like it only would have worked if people could actually trust him. You know, and that like he had already established himself as someone who was like too much of a loose cannon, too crazy to like for anyone to trust. So he needed the people he wanted to work with to trust him, and that's why it didn't work, I feel like. But other than that, I feel like he had a good, like, if he could have like formed a solid actual alliance, it would have worked.
Oh yeah, like for sure. Like he's so amazing. But like I think he had this one confession where he comes in, he sits down, and he's complaining about Emily M, because you know they have like the weirdest rivalry of all time, and I love their rivalry. But he sits down, and he's like, Emily thinks she's a hero. Like at least I am able to know that I'm the villain. But like, yeah, like because he identifies Emily as someone who's like the false hero, like someone who thinks that she is a hero but can't be a villain, which I honestly, from my perspective, think is a more accurate interpretation of Emily M in the game. Love Emily M. I think she's a hero in everyday life.
Yeah, for sure.
I was watching an episode with my mom, and when Aiden said that, my mom was like, that's so true.
It is true. Yeah, he was right.
Like he had, I think, the best reads on people in general about how they would perform in the game. I think, honestly, out of the 18 of you, I think like his predictions on how you think you were due, like you guys, he's just really good at reading the room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except he did think that more people trusted him than they actually did.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I just couldn't go there. I wish if I could do it over, honestly, I would have trusted Aiden. Seeing what I've seen so far.
Kind of going off if you would do it over, Sarah, you only had 3 days total in the game. If you could do it over, what would you do differently?
I just think I'd be more vocal, but in a smart way. Like I wouldn't have said that one like dumb comment, but I probably would have just like reached out to more people. I mean, I reached out to, Jonathan and Joe, but that was like over text, and which is like whatever. I kind of wished I had like proven myself as more of a face-to-face like alliance maker, and I think I could have gone farther if I had done that.
For sure. I think Survivor is the kind of game where anyone can win at any time. It just depends on the group of people you're with and the moods they're in at that given time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if all 18 of you were to play again and like wipe the slate clean as if you guys didn't play in the first place, I think we would have a totally different game.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's really situational.
Always.
Yeah.
Always is. But next question is again for all of you. Who is your favorite player while watching this season of Survivor Boston?
Matt is really tugging on my heartstrings. I'm just hoping for the best at this point. It was the perfect scenario for him to switch to the other side, and he found the idol. Like the way he like presented it to Natalie, like, yeah, that's right, I got this after my concussion. And then the perfect opportunity for him to switch to the others. Like, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Rooting for Matt. For sure.
Yeah, let's see. I would have to say I really like Tay's, Tay had a really good, I mean, from what I saw, which like IRL, which is like not a 10, Tay had a really good like social game, like from my perspective. So she was, because she's very like nice and bubbly, but you could tell she was also like actively thinking about things. So I liked watching her and like seeing how she did.
I thought it was really fun to watch Emily, especially since like I wasn't privy to a lot of the early Jocka stuff, and she was really taking the lead there. It was cool to see, like, especially her like rivalries, Aiden. That was really fun. I love that fake idol play.
Wait, I'm sorry, I'm losing it because Joe photoshopped himself into like the Avengers thing where they're all running like an Avengers Infinity War, like with him with the bucket, like right.
Joe is Captain America. Wait, hold on.
We're gonna post this on the Survivor Facebook wall later tonight because that is so well done. Actually, I think Brian Roke actually photoshopped him in, but it works so perfectly.
Is he getting on? Joe's back, right? Is he getting on?
Joe is saying he's currently trying to get on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you find the new link or the old link?
I gave him the new link.
Okay.
Oh, he posted it ever since.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's try to. Also, just for reference for anyone who's currently in the chat right now, if you guys have any questions throughout this entire live stream, you guys can totally ask them. We've been picking questions off the entire time. So if you guys do have any questions from a viewing perspective or personal lives, you can get to know these people on a personal level. That's game changing. Like, this is your time to bond. I have a question. It's somewhere. Here we go. It's for Christy. Do you think that you were swap screwed, which is basically when you're thrown into a position where the tribes switch and all of a sudden you're in a minority? And do you think that there was any way that you could have convinced Matt to play his idol on you?
Honestly, I was so screwed. Yes, I was. Whoever asked that, like, you understand me. Yeah, I definitely was, because it just like completely shifted. Like, obviously, like we talked about it. In like my last tribal, we talked about it. I was just like, yeah, we know where every line is drawn. And honestly, Matt was such a strong player. I don't think that I would have been able to convince him to play his idol on me. If I knew he had it, I probably would have been like what we talked about earlier. I would have been like, all right, I wouldn't have talked to him beforehand, so no one would have got suspicious. I wouldn't have like shown that we were together, and then like had everyone vote him, and then he play it, and then I vote like. It probably would have ended up being Spencer or Isabella. So yeah, that's the only way that would have worked. I don't think he would have played it on me because he's too smart of a player.
For sure. Charlie, do you have a question to ask?
Yeah, what do you guys like take away from this experience, you know? As a whole.
Don't trust anyone. Even your friends. Don't trust your friends. My friends screwed me the most on this season, honestly, and I just want to play again and vanquish my enemies and ruin everyone's life.
Yes.
Good.
Go!
Oh, Joseph.
Hello. Oh my gosh, this is so glitchy.
Hi.
Hello. Oh my god, there's so many people.
All right, Joe Johnson is in the house. Joe, how are you?
I am doing fantastic.
How does it feel to be voted out?
Say what?
How does it feel to be voted out right before the merge?
Oh, dude. Oh my god. It's kind of upsetting. I mean, like, because I was like almost there. I was like, hey, if I make it past merge, I'm just gonna like slide on through. No one's gonna notice me. Everyone likes me. So I'll just win this thing. No, that didn't happen. So, yeah.
Joe, you were definitely like a fan favorite.
I know.
A lot of people were rooting for you. How does that feel?
Humble.
I mean, like that feels like really cool. I was like, you know, I knew that like people liked me and everything, but I didn't think like people were gonna be like, yo, Joe's like really cool, because I was just like, oh, Isabella, Spencer, Kay, you know, all of them. Like the crowd's gonna like them. Like, yeah, they'll think I'm cool or whatever. But like when I saw it's like Isabella and Joe tied, I was like, what? Like that, because Isabella is just like amazing. I mean,
the chat right now is going, Joe is robbed. Joe is robbed. Like
I was robbed.
They're right. They're right. Joe was robbed.
Joe was robbed.
Jonathan, you ruined everything.
I know. I was talking about that already. Okay.
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I think you should, Joe. You should have just voted out Tay.
I mean, yeah, I would still say that. Like, I do take the blame for ruining that final three.
Yeah,
but Joe, I've said this to you many times. I think you should have voted with me. I think
I probably should have. I mean, were Spencer and Isabella up for it? I can't remember off the top of my mind. Right? Would they have been up?
From my understanding, Jacob, you can probably fill this in more, but I believe that up until the conversation that was shown with the two of them and Tay, which was like, you know, close to like before that tribal, they were going to vote Tay, and then she was able to swing them. So it was very close, and that's why I wanted to clue you in, because I didn't want you to get blindsided. But.
Yeah, well, I got blindsided later, so it's fine.
We all get blindsided in the end. Yeah. That's my takeaway from this experience.
It was coming anyways.
Joe, who did you want? You thought they were all going to vote out Spencer?
Yeah, I totally thought they were all vote out Spencer.
So you were blindsided.
You know, Spencer seems like a snake. He just came in there. You know, I'm sure Isabella will want him gone. Little did I know that Isabella was working with Spencer the whole entire time.
Yeah, Lindsay Lohan's other British twin sister, Parent Trap, hashtag.
Because, like, from the perspective of the show, they are seen doing confessionals together. They're seen in all the similar alliances. But from your perspectives, do you expect Spencer and Isabella to be as close as they actually are?
Like what, in real life, or like later on in the game, or
like during the game? Did you expect them to be as close as they were? Is that what you're asking, Jacob?
Yeah, like during the game, like did you guys see them as close as they actually are?
Oh, like I kind of like I knew that they were friends, but like I didn't know that they were like super close, like in an alliance doing confessionals together. That kind of stuff. Like I would not really have expected that. I would have expected Isabella being like, okay, thanks for your help, now get out of here. You know, knowing her personality, it's like, hey, wow, you did all this stuff for me. Okay, now you can hit the road. I've had enough with you. I mean, it's smart that they acted like they hated each other. Or it was like kind of friends, but kind of not. I remember saying at one point, it's like, oh yeah, after the game. She's like, "Oh yeah, we acted like we were hating each other. And we weren't going to be friends, so no one would suspect us." So I didn't really suspect any of that.
I just took my pants off.
Oh, good.
Letting everyone know.
All right, so the whole
Great.
viewing world now knows that.
Now it's a party.
I didn't
Wait,
expect Spencer.
wait,
and
I have a question.
Mhm.
Wasn't it pretty telling though when everyone voted out Jonathan instead of like obviously voting out Spencer would have been easy, like he was only Pajaki on the team of Makwa. So wasn't that like a red flag that whoever was gonna go next, like Spencer had like a solidified thing on that team
Okay.
that a Makwa player would go out next?
That's a good point.
I mean, I wasn't thinking from that standpoint. I was just thinking of from the point of like, okay, everyone thinks that Jonathan is kind of like a snake right now. So let's just go ahead and get him out because that's like, that just seems like weird. He's going against Tay because I didn't really like know that Isabella and Spencer were like working together, you know, that close and everything. So I just thought, and I didn't know that you were kind of in alliance with them either, Jonathan.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, so like I didn't really see that.
like I was more aligned with
I
Isabella.
thought I knew a lot, but apparently I didn't. So so yeah, I mean, I kind of suspected that, but I just thought that everyone was like, okay, wow, Jonathan is just being really weird and he's trying to do his own thing right now. So we'll just get rid of him, then we'll get rid of Spencer because it seems like he's doing his own little thing. So that just kind of, I thought it would work hand in hand, but apparently it didn't. Here, just give me 1 second. My dad's about to leave for China and everything, so I'll be right back.
Oh yes, say bye to your dad.
Yeah, but
Yeah, go say bye to your dad. Come on.
I was saying, yeah, I mean, I definitely like I saw them as a duo, but I didn't realize how close they were because again, like I did think that like Isabella was one of my close allies, and like I always felt like she would side with me over him. Which I think speaks to her game. And so, like, I knew, like, going into that vote, of course, like, I saw, like, Tay and Joe as, like, a tight pair and them as a tight pair. And I didn't really know that the two of them wanted to go to Final Three with me. Because, again, like, ideally, at that point, I would have gone with Isabel and Joe. So, like, I did say, like, when I talked to them that I wanted to go far in the game with them, but, like, I very intentionally never said Final Three because I didn't want to just lie to them about that.
Well, so I have a question. So watching the footage, it looked like minds were already made up, so I'm not sure exactly how the thought process went. Jonathan, you were saying...
No, Charlie, you froze again.
Oh God,
I froze again, right? Did I froze again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reset.
Jonathan, you were saying that Spencer and Isabella were okay with Tay up until Tay had that conversation with them. Jacob, fill me in on like the mindsets of like Spencer and Isabella during that whole thing. Were they actually set on Tay or did they want Jonathan?
So up until about an hour before Tribal Council, I can confirm that Tay was going to be voted out. Basically what happened was Tay, in that conversation with Spencer and Isabella, Tay pretty much revealed all the information that happened when she met up with Joe and Jonathan. She mentioned that Joe could see Spencer as an asset down the line, but not Isabella. Jonathan mentioned that he trusts Isabella, but not necessarily Spencer. So Tay brought that information to the two of them, saying that she trusts the two of them, not just one of them, as both Joe, who just dropped out of this call, and Jonathan.
Shock and awe.
And that was something that
one, not the other necessarily. So from their perspective, they're like, okay, Tay trusts us. And they don't necessarily trust one or the other. So they felt more comfortable going forward with Tay and not the two of you.
Yeah, that was something that kind of confused me in watching that because right after that meeting with Tay and Joe, I did actually text Isabella and Spencer and I said, like, we landed on Spencer. So I thought that they would feel like I was just like playing both sides, but still siding with them. So yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
So, I mean, part of that was like my fault for not like following up, but I had made plans to meet up again with Isabella because she had texted me like saying that she was like very paranoid. She thought that like she was going to like be voted out herself, that people were going to blindside her. So I wanted to like meet with her to reassure her, but just either our schedules didn't line up, or maybe she had already kind of had it in her mind that she didn't want to vote with me. So that never ended up happening. And since I think since Tay did have the last word there, even though like I was pretty like honest and upfront with Spencer and Isabella, they were able to just kind of interpret that the way they did.
Yeah, and like, in this kind of a show, we get, especially from your season, we got hours and hours of footage every single round. And it's impossible, especially when you guys tie-dyed. For anyone who's watching it, we got hours of them tie-dyeing. And I woke up before a class one morning and binged all of it. So there was
it was fun. Wasn't it entertaining to watch? Yeah.
I had to edit that part.
Charlie edited that part, so he's watching all of it.
That's okay.
Like
it was fun.
So much footage from you guys. It's ridiculous.
Are you gonna do like bloopers or anything?
Yeah,
bloopers. Points we will release longer takes.
There's already a lot of like kind of funny character moments we've seen from a lot of people.
Like just random moments, like Tay randomly burping halfway through Tribal.
I know a website where you can make a bunch of Blu-rays and everything. And you can have like original packaging. We need to make a Survivor Boston Season 2 Blu-ray pack.
Wait, yeah, who goes on this?
Who goes on the bed? Oh God, it's like 6 different Aidens.
Did you watch where we went into Jonathan's basement?
Oh, I watched.
Yeah, that was so
spooky. How come I haven't seen the basement yet?
I don't know. I think Tay filmed that, but yeah, we went into my basement, which is basically a labyrinth and kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Wait, what were you guys doing there in the basement?
I was just kind of giving everyone a tour, honestly. And I remember I did like the Saw voice and was like, "Let's play a game." And people were thoroughly freaked out.
I should have made the show.
Yeah,
we're mistaken, Jacob.
Also, my life with a squirrel. Do you remember that joke?
Oh yeah.
Like squirrels. Like, that was so
yeah, like we get so many hours of footage and we're trying to shove it into an episode that's under an hour. It's like it's honestly most of the clips we get last about an hour. Like I think, for example, the one where Jonathan and Siobhan are talking before the tribe swap, that was about 40 minutes alone.
Yeah, that was a very long conversation. It was
where she's really sad because the last Star Trek movie wasn't as good as she thought it would be.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's a lot of choosing what doesn't get to go in the episode. So a lot of things may not be portrayed 100% as accurately as they actually happened. And I think anyone who's played seasons 1 or 2 of Survivor Boston can tell you that at this point.
Yeah.
There are things that are certain ways that we need to tell the story that make it just easier editing-wise and easier comprehension-wise. Because if we showed every single second of what happened, there'd be 40 more alliances, there'd be 40 more people on the chopping block. Because like realistically, everyone's names pretty much get thrown out every week.
Yeah, I wonder what real Survivor's like then, because it's like 24/7.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's like there's a lot more downtime.
Really?
Oh yeah.
The people that end up panicking and strategizing every 30 seconds end up going home like really quickly. But that's actually a question we got. For any of you who watch the actual show, who is a player that you really like or maybe is your favorite?
How many of you actually watch the actual show? Kate, Joe, Jonathan.
Cool. I don't remember any of the names.
From this past season, I really liked Jonathan until he went crazy. I like Kelly Wentworth or like Wigglesworth. Yeah, those are strong players. Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna look up.
Oh, Matt really wants a date with Donathan, not Jonathan. With Donathan.
Yes.
Where is that hashtag?
Jonathan, please set him up with Matthew Finkelstein. Please do
Does
that.
he really want a date with Jonathan?
Yes, that's all
Jonathan's going on dates right now, so he's out at
Matt, get in there.
Oh my god. There was one girl I really did not like in Ghost Island though.
Who?
I'm trying to pull up.
Was it Angela? Angela who ate the stuff?
No,
Kellen. I liked Kellen.
She was like,
People don't like Kellen.
she was like, what are you
I don't
doing?
like Kellen. Kellen? I didn't like
Hold on.
Kellen.
I'm trying to pull up a picture of her.
Fine.
Jonathan, why don't you talk about?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I'm a huge fan of the show, so I have a lot of different favorites. But like from recent seasons, I really like Adam Klein. He's someone that I'm pretty sure during casting I talked about like wanting to play like.
That's Kellen.
Yeah, Kellen.
I hated her.
I like Kellen.
I didn't like
Leave Kellen alone.
No.
I don't get, like I understand like
Chelsea?
honestly I don't get her hate. I think she's okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine.
All right. Anyway, Jonathan.
So like, if we can start a hashtag where I can get a date with Chelsea.
I just want to let you guys know, Emily Kidd in Survivor Boston has gotten more confessionals than Chelsea did in her season of Ghost Island.
That's I don't. Okay, we've talked about this a lot, but I don't understand.
Emily Kidd has gotten 4. Chelsea got 3.
I mean, how many did Sarah Fristow get?
Like 4?
Sarah got 4?
She got 4. Oh, okay.
That's the T.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. A couple people asked this question. Would you play again?
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Sign
Yeah.
I'm trying to kick ass, take names.
Yeah. I'm so ready to like redo. I need a redo.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
So everybody's like, yeah, I'd play again.
Yeah, I'd totally play again.
It was so much fun. Like honestly, Jacob, Charlie, Sarah, Kevin, all the producers, like guys, it was so much fun.
Mhm.
It was intense, but it was so much fun. I made so many friends. I had such a good time.
Did anyone else like wake up in the middle of the night though from like a nightmare?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like we've all,
Someone's going after you now. Like,
especially after I got voted out, I had like multiple like nights in a row of just stress screams. Just like thinking like, what should I have done? Like, what if I had this conversation? What if I said this?
Yeah.
That's like a common trend though. Like if you're in the chat right now, Brian, Sarah, Matt, Bailey, and Isabella, I've seen you guys pop in and out. If you guys are there, have you guys had the nightmares? Throw that in the chat.
Yeah.
I know Siobhan did, and Lexi from season 1. Lexi, my favorite text ever was Lexi texting me like really early in the morning, and she's like, "I just had the worst nightmare of my life because of you."
I mean, Jacob, I don't know if you've had them, but I've had dreams about like the show just like not going well, or just like right before season 3 started. Oh, I can't even talk about that. But we filmed season 3, but right before that started, I had dreams of that just falling apart.
Oh yeah, no, that's happened to me too.
Yeah.
Every time.
Dude, I actually can't imagine. It's like you're knee deep filming a season, then all of a sudden it's like it just sucks. Like the best people get voted out in the first like 4 episodes, and you're like,
yeah, so it's an art season.
Yeah. So I have one last question for you guys, and it was if also both Matt and Sarah do have anxiety dreams. If you guys, the pre-merge group, which includes Aiden and Natalie, if you guys were the final 7, who wins?
Oh man. No.
Let's go down the line. I want to hear what you think.
wait.
Hey, Charlie, including Natalie, it's time to vote.
Oh God.
Oh
I
god.
just want you to know whoever said that in the chat.
Oh, that was from DeZenis.
Yes, that was such a funny joke.
Sorry if I'm messing up your name, DeZenis.
This is who I want to vote out for the first episode.
For a winner.
Vote on my dad's expenses. I hope that doesn't.
Okay, all right, Jonathan, who do you think would win out of the 7?
Should I just not include myself?
You can include yourself if you think you'd win.
I mean, I honestly think, I mean, there's so many factors that go into Survivor, so it's hard to say. I think I probably would have had a good shot. I think like up until the point where I just blew up my game, I played decently well. So
okay, other than you.
I did not get anything you just said.
I said that I would have a decent shot. I mean, other than me, I think Joe probably would do well. I think even if like Joe and I actually went to final 3 together, I think it probably would have been close.
Joe, what about you? What do you think?
Okay, to be honest, I think a really good final three would have been me, Jonathan, and Sarah.
T.
And I think that would actually been a really good final tribal. Like, because Jonathan has a strategy, like, and people game about survivors. People like to vote on like who played the game best, and Jonathan would have probably played the game best because, like for instance, I would have probably gotten some votes just because like I'm great with talking with people and everything, but like I don't know if I really had like a good like strategy. I should have like talked more. And I feel like Sarah would have been something in the middle if she got to play more. So I don't know. I think that would have been a really divided final three. That would have been a fun final. I don't know who's awesome from that, to be honest. So
Jacob left. What do you think, Kate?
There he is.
What was the reason why Natalie got voted out?
Well, because they all actually, a lot of people saw Natalie as a really big threat.
I honestly think Natalie, if she was, I think she could have easily won.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
She could have won to the end.
Natalie had a lot of fans. A lot of people said she was robbed, which I can agree. I think she was doing pretty well in her first, and the time that she had in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I was there longer, I would have a strong social game. But I don't know if I would win it, So.
Yeah. I can see that. I felt really bad voting you out, like genuinely.
Honestly,
I'm going home this weekend, and I was like I feel you. That may be me in a couple weeks. Like, that actually was me because I wasn't there for one challenge. I was like,
that was the week that I got voted out.
Yeah, that was the week you got voted out. And I remember coming back and like, what was the challenge? You're like, I don't really remember. I just had to do a blindfold and I ran into a fence.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that made me show. I just went head first into the fence at the end of that challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of like I was hurt when I got out, but it did take a huge weight off my shoulders when I got out. Like I had so much more free time. I could focus on what I was doing school-wise. But I did wish I stayed a little longer to get to know everyone more. I don't know. It was like
free time and everything. I was like, when you talk about free time and everything, like I would get calls from my like family members like from back home and everything, and they're like, "What are the extracurriculars you're doing at Emerson?" I was like, Survivor. They're like, what else? That's really not.
It really was an extracurricular. I was like, I can't. Too much on my plate.
If you are listening, we need credit.
SGA recognized.
4 credit hours for competing in Survivor Boston.
Reality TV show. This could be a class.
Yeah, it could be a class.
We help them get on that.
Any last bit things you guys want to shout out? Anything you want to mention? You guys can also throw out your Instagram and Twitters if y'all need to. But
I'm hella throwing out my Twitter.
Sarah's Twitter's great.
First of all, you never asked Christy and I who we think would win. So
I'll go ahead real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think that Joe would win.
Joe.
Yeah. And I'll say my Twitter is @RodentSheriff. That's Rodent Sheriff. Please follow it. Thank you.
Here, I'll type it in the.
Okay.
Oh, cool. That's a good idea.
I think. Explain that right. Are there any?
I think that it would have been either Joe, and I feel like if we followed Aiden's plan, like to a T, and me and Natalie actually trusted him, I feel like we could have done some big stuff, but no one trusted him, so it never worked. But definitely Joe.
Thank you.
I follow me on Twitter @JesusChristVivo, and the last O is a 0. And on Instagram Christy Mitchell _.
Ooh, I forgot to throw out my Instagram @Sarah Fristo. Thank you.
Wait. Are you typing all these down in the comments?
I just typed Sarah's Twitter. I'm not gonna
do
everything.
Okay, no. Okay. Mine is easy if you type it down, Charlie. Everything like Instagram, Twitter, Snap, whatever. Everything is the same.
Snapchat.
It's I don't know. At Kate Knapp, KATENAPP, Nap with 2 P's. Kate Knapp. Get
That's
it?
Go take a nap.
It's Twitter, right?
That's everything.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I'm done typing.
Oh, my Instagram. Get ready for this because I just made it public. Wow.
Hey.
So it's King Joe IV for like King Joe the Fourth because I'm the fourth in my family.
Or like an IV drip.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you your
That's very
Instagram aesthetic.
Actually, hey, you'll get a kick out of this, Jonathan. Look at my profile pic now.
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
from
oh,
Tribal.
I'm gonna.
Kate's tribal, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Kate's Tribal.
Let's talk about Kate.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe.
Oh
What?
boy.
I was the only one who raised my hand in my tribal. You raised your hand at Sarah's tribal,
I
and
did.
that's the T.
That's the T.
Yeah. So let's not get it twisted.
Oh, I think it's because Joe. I think you said you raised your hand at one of the tribals. You said you raised your hand at Kate's tribal.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
You're a liar, sir.
Wait,
Joe.
did I raise my hand at Kate's tribal?
You didn't. I thought you were safe. I was the only one who did.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, you were acting like, oh yeah, look, I have an immunity.
And look at
Whoa. Beautiful.
All right.
Honestly, that had me spooked for a little bit. Like legit, I was like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't.
All right.
Jonathan, anything from you?
Oh yeah, my Twitter is at jwildest. So the first letters of my last name.
Or the wild adventure.
But yeah, I mean, I mostly tweet about Survivor on there. So if you like Survivor, I guess follow me.
I got 0 new followers, so I don't know why you guys are slacking.
Yeah, me neither. Like,
Well, we got 16 watching.
Follow.
Okay.
Also,
There should be 16 new followers.
No, wait. There can't possibly. Oh, that's because I just made it public. Okay, I was like, I all of a sudden had 120 more followers, and I was like, what? And I was like, there's no way there's that many people writing them down. Right?
Hey, man.
Joe, you're a fan favorite, okay?
I was like, oh, dang. All right, cool. I like it. So.
wait, Sarah Duvall's watching this. Sarah Duvall, I love you. All my heart.
Sarah Duvall.
There's
I miss
season
you.
one winner.
And Matt Fink, you're here too. Hi.
No, I love you.
All
I
right.
was shading you earlier, but I love you.
Yeah, wait, how in the world do you guys know that people are watching?
I know.
We have a YouTube
You
video.
guys can watch the YouTube feed from here.
Oh, whoa, wait,
What?
hold on, that's a
What are we
game
watching?
changer.
That's like insane.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah,
I think
no,
we're
I want
gonna,
Yeah, guys, you guys can check that
I
out.
think we're gonna wrap it up now, right?
Wait, no, but just leave the chat.
Wait, hold up. I want to see myself on YouTube. Give me one
I don't
second.
know
You
how
still
to do
can.
that.
Hang on,
No.
guys.
Don't do anything.
Wait.
Settle for a second.
Wait, guys, real quick, bring it in.
Guys, Joe, Kate, Sarah.
This is how tribal councils are.
All right,
Oh, look,
Charlie,
really?
do you want to close this out?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. Thanks to all of you who've been voted off to come and talk with us. This was a really good discussion. It was nice seeing all your faces. Hope you guys are having a good summer, and thanks to all of you who tuned in to watch. Got some very good questions. The episode 7, the mid-season premiere, is going to come out on Thursday, June 28th. We're going to have a 3-week break between the two halves of the season. So the mid-season premiere
Perfect.
didn't take that long. Oh, I was frozen again, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Where did I leave off? Oh yeah, okay. The season 7 premiere. No, not season 7. The episode 7 will premiere Thursday, June 28th. So that's 3 weeks from today. We're taking a little hiatus, so it's going to be the mid-season premiere. We're splitting up the two halves, so the mid-season premiere is going to be 3 weeks from today, June 28th. Hopefully you guys can wait that long. It's going to be good. Second half, good stuff goes down.
I have a quick
All right.
question.
Joe has a question. Sure.
And he froze.
All right.
Those two.
Watching,
Joe, I
great.
know how you feel.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah, we're back. Okay, wait. Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be procrastinating during that time or actually editing?
Ooh.
Like, nothing against you
We
guys.
already have the season edited. We have the whole season edited.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that's
We're just.
Oh, okay.
Shut up.
I probably should have.
Sure,
I'm
yeah.
so mad.
No, it's okay, Joe.
all right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.